A Brooklyn rabbinical court has a new message: don't snitch. The court issued an edict to followers saying don't talk to outsiders about criminal investigations. Eyewitness News reporter N.J. Burkett has more.
I think that internal issues of the community should stay internal. That's it.
In the ultra-Orthodox community, conformity is a way of life, which is why a series of startling edicts from their leading rabbis are hardly controversial at all.
I don't have any position. Whatever their position is, that's my position.
Determined to maintain good relations with the NYPD, rabbis have issued what critics say amounts to a gag order on the 3,000 families who live here. According to their edicts, any public criticism of the NYPD, including community complaints, must be approved in advance. Websites must have permission to publish criticism, and residents must not bring potentially incriminating information about other residents to the media. Permission, the rabbis insist, must come from the Crown Heights Jewish Community Council, the local liaison with the NYPD.
If you feel that something is not as it should be, come discuss it with the community. Don't go out public and make a big splash about something that maybe you don't have all the facts.
It's so important to keep a positive relationship between the community and the police. And
most people we spoke with supported the rabbis, but there are those tonight who say they've gone way too far.
The truth is there's been a lot of incidents happening here, and there's not been too much attention being paid by the police.
So according to this, you just violated edict number 1.
Doing what?
Talking to me about the police.
It's okay because I need to say what needs to be said. It's okay.
Rabbis admit the edicts are non-binding. Compliance is voluntary. Tonight, a spokesman for the department says no one should ever be discouraged from filing a complaint against the NYPD. Crown Heights.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities. Maybe you're commuting to work, going to school, or out running errands. We all play a role in keeping our community safe. Report suspicious activity.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Friday, December 10th, 2010, and I'm Darko. Welcome to this news bulletin, everyone. New listeners, please visit my website, www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. Well, you just watched a couple videos, one telling you to snitch and one telling you not to snitch, so hopefully you can figure it out yourself and what to do. But it says Secretary Napolitano announces expansion of "If you see something, say something" campaign to Walmart stores across the nation. And this is just the actual website's press release. So if people think that this is a joke or something, you can see that it's the real thing. So. First up, body scanners. Clinton promises review of procedure after TSA pat-down of Indian envoy causes stir. This is from today from CNSnews.com. Says here, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said Thursday the administration would be, quote, reviewing the policies after an airport pat-down of India's ambassador to the U.S. brought a rebuke from New Delhi. And this is the same woman who just on ABC News who said if she could avoid a body scan, she would. It says reports that Ambassador Mira Shankar was subjected to a full-body search while awaiting flight at Mississippi's Jackson Evers International Airport last weekend caused a stir in India, and it adds to the controversy swirling around airline screening procedures introduced in the U.S. last month, including full body scans and intrusive pat-downs. And remember that one guy, I don't know if his name was Shaka Khan or whatever his name was, but he was basically a Bollywood or a big celebrity in India, and it was about a year ago, maybe even, I would say about a little over a year ago now, the whole incident with the body scanners that basically the TSA agents were taking printouts. They were, because they say they don't print them out, but they had a printout of his body, naked body, and they showed it to him and they got it signed. And he was joking about it because it's a big joke. I was going to post a video with one of those Kardashian girls. I don't know. I think his name was Chloe or something. But I don't really follow all the celebrities in that. But it doesn't really matter because, I was going to post it because I'm like, oh, okay, here's a person complaining about TSA. But the way it was presented with George Lopez and that, because he's a comedian, everything gets watered down. Nothing's serious anymore. I swear to God. That's why I like making these videos. I really do enjoy them because I have passion. I have emotions. I'm a real human being. And I get pissed off seeing my fellow human beings get treated like crap, and I'm not going to laugh about it. It's a serious issue, I mean, would we be laughing when we're getting anal probes, at the airport or just to go on a bus. This is ridiculous, man. Get beat down because you tell the police they're a bunch of fascists. Or yeah, how about in Egypt? I just covered an article where the police beat a man to death because they thought that he had defaulted on a bank loan as he was coming out of the bank, and it was actually a mistake. He actually did just pay it off. So I mean, it's not a laughing matter, and that's not going to solve any problems. So let's just move on here. This next one up, TSA recruits on pizza boxes. The TSA seems to be all about experimentation these days, trying out new security measures, including controversial pat-downs and screening methods, and now advertising for jobs on pizza boxes. The Washington Post reports this week that the TSA is broadening their recruiting horizons by using the boxes as a new way to market to prospective candidates. So it says the Washington Reagan National Airport and Washington Dulles International Airport have been advertising on pizza boxes since last year, according to TSA spokesmen. Man, I wonder who their target audience is. According to, I mean, I like pizza. I like getting, pizza here and there, but I guess they're looking for fat slobs or something. I don't know, lazy slobs. Says here, and if you're a TSA agent, you may not necessarily be for these body scanners. I know that there are some of them, according to an article I just posted, were actually really concerned about the radiation. But I know you have to feed your kids, and you got to keep the heat on and do all that and pay gas, be able to pay for gas. Basically pay the bills. But it's like the police, man. Like in the UK and that, it's like you gotta choose sides. I hate to say that, but it's like you got to be on the side of either positive or negative, on the side of freedom or on the side of enslavement, the service to others or service to self, whatever the hell you want to call it. If you're working for the TSA or you're working for the police department or you're working for the feds, you should think twice about what you're doing, because really what you're doing is you're really just taking away all the sovereignty and freedom that not only other people have, but you have, because you think that you're part of this big club, this big, secret club or something. And maybe if you're a police officer, you are part of the fraternal order of police. You are part of a brotherhood that represents each other and take care of each other. So if you beat the hell out of somebody or kill them or whatever, nothing really happens to you because you're a brotherhood. You're a secret little order. And I understand that. But if you do work for them, just know that you're also hurting yourself in the long run. Like I said, it's not a laughing matter. As it gets worse, you're going to see that people aren't going to be smiling and laughing anymore. So, pick a side. What are you going to do? Gold drops as China tightens, down 2% on the week. Gold fell on Friday after China raised bank reserve requirements and investors took profits in bullion. U.S. data showing rising consumer confidence and a shrinking trade gap. For oil slips on China rate hike worry. Gasoline slides. Oil prices fell on Friday and choppy trading, finishing with a weekly loss as concerns that China's moves to cool inflation will curb energy demand. It says while slumping gasoline futures hit crude futures, which had risen on news of surging Chinese imports. And don't forget that the U.S. dollar is the currency that the most oil is traded in. So it's one of the little tools or mechanisms that these global corporatist fascists like to use to help keep rigging their system to keep it afloat, right? Because they're all insolvent anyways. Most institutions, like these lending institutions, aren't even solvent, including my local bank here in Indiana. They're not solvent. It's a big joke. But anyways, my point is when the dollar starts to hit the tank, or when it starts to show signs to hit the tank, they like to boost up oil prices. Boosting up oil prices increases the value of the dollar. Maybe I'm wrong. If anybody knows a better explanation as to that or anything else, just leave it in the comment board. I'm always open-minded to being corrected. But that's just my little theory. U.S. posts $150.4 billion November budget deficit. Said U.S. government ran its 26th straight monthly budget deficit in November amid wrangling over a package that would extend big tax cuts to Americans trying to recover from recession. The Treasury Department, in its regular budget monthly statement, said the government spent $150.4 billion than it collected in the second month of fiscal 2011. So Moving on here, House approves $1 trillion budget bill. I believe our GDP is 12 to 13 trillion a year. The House nearly approved a stripped-down budget bill Wednesday evening, cutting nearly $46 billion from President Barack Obama's request in order to hold total government-wide appropriations to no more than the current $1 trillion level. Next up, exports rebound, boosting economy, and we're going to swing through. We're going to finish up here on the economy. We just moved out of Big Brother, and we'll move into eugenics and some other stuff. Surging global demand for American soybeans, cars, diesel engines, and even artwork and antiques has pushed the U.S. exports to a level not seen before the financial crisis, boosting prospects for domestic economic growth. A 3.2% surge in exports in October, together with a 0.5% drop in imports, sent the U.S. trade deficit to a 9-month low of $38.7 billion, the Commerce Department said Friday. So it says the export gains were broad-based, reflecting stronger sales abroad in industrial materials. Moving on here to Press TV news, China exports, imports hit record highs. That's what we were just was just mentioned in the previous article. Chinese customs authorities have officially announced that the country's rate of exports and imports hit record highs last month. Exports increased 34.9% in November from a year earlier to $153 billion, while imports also rose 37% to $130.4 billion. And that's what China is. They are the manufacturer of the world. So they'll manufacture all of our cheap, toxic, tainted goods, and we'll just be over here eating McDonald's and working at Walmart and going to the doctor to get eugenics care, take it out on us here in the U.S. Oh, and we will be a pool of psychopaths in which to draw from for a global military force. Says U.S. fiscal health worse than Europe's. China advisor says the U.S. dollar will be a safe investment for the next 6 to 12 months because global markets are focused on the Eurozone's troubles, but America's fiscal health is worse than Europe's, an advisor to the Chinese central bank said on Wednesday. Moving on to Joseph Stiglitz, Nobel Peace Prize winning economist. Joseph Stiglitz, America's quantitative easing too poses considerable risk. Stiglitz has said that the U.S. government's second bout of quantitative easing poses considerable risk to global economies. Quote, all this liquidity that they are creating is not going back to grow the American economy and is going to Asia and other emerging markets where it's not wanted, Mr. Stiglitz said. Most of the countries around the world have begun to react. They put in capital controls, exchange rate interventions, taxes on these capital flows, a variety of interventions, so government interventions. Federal Reserve is set to buy an additional $600 billion of treasuries, dubbed QE2, until June 2011 in an attempt to boost the economic growth, according to Central Bank Chairman Ben Bernanke. Finished up here for the economy, ECB to keep purchasing government bonds. So same thing in Europe. European Central Bank says it will keep purchasing the government bonds of debt-ridden countries and a move to calm financial markets. So this is all to help the economy, but at the same time, you're going to lose purchasing power as they're printing up more money. Bank of America restarts some foreclosures. Bank of America, as we know, I discussed this in recent videos, according to a Georgetown University professor, basically said that all four of these banks are technically insolvent. All the big four banks, and including Bank of America, and that they were basically dragging their heels to start these foreclosures, because if they did, it would show that they actually are insolvent, right? Like I said, they're already insolvent, but like this is another way to rig the market, to rig the numbers, right? To rig the books. So cook the books, as they say. AIG restores logo to staff badges. This is an interesting article. The links will be posted below in the video's description, just like all the other videos. You can check out the links to all these articles that I posted and check them out yourself. AIG says tempers have cooled, common sense has returned, and our people feel safer. So it says New Yorkers will soon be able to tell if they're sharing the subway with an employee of a business, which until recently has been keener on staying in the shadows. So it says here, for 2 years after receiving the biggest bailout in Wall Street's history, AIG is restoring its logo to the identification badges that its staff wear. The insurers reckon it's literally a sign of the times. So that was a very interesting article when I came across that these bastards are so scared about what they did, about stealing taxpayers' monies, that they have to take their logo off their clothes when they're out in public. Please join me in part 2 of this news bulletin. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.